Hi everyone, welcome to Module 5. This week we're going to be looking at evaluating sources, education, and research. So let's just jump into it. So for your lesson this week, we're going to be looking at education and how to create an argumentative essay. So below, as usual, there is a PowerPoint to kind of go through and to kind of give you an idea of what a argumentative essay looks like, what research looks like. Most of us have already done this, so this is just a quick review of how to make sure that you are making your argumentative essay and putting it in the proper format. Then down here, we have a couple of videos. These are all about education and segregation and how education um, is for different populations and for different social status. And it's really interesting. Normally, I share to teach us all, but because they're no longer on Netflix and they're no longer on YouTube, these videos do the same. So there's just a couple of them. They're really interesting to show you how education is changing, and in some places where education is not changing. So give these a watch. None of them are longer than I would say 20 minutes, so just put them on. They all have captions. So just it's going to be really helpful when you guys are looking at your essay, when you're looking at your research, and then it's going to be really helpful when you guys are trying to figure out what your view is on education and economic status. Then you're going to read section 3.8 and then chapter 4, section 1 through 5 in your Successful College Composition textbook. So just make sure that you click on the textbook and you follow that section. And then you guys are going to go through and you guys are going to read some more articles about school segregation, public schools, how they function. These are all different articles. There's two of them. Sorry, there's two of those articles about separation and equality on education. These are going to help you guys in your discussion. These can be used in your essays. So these are all tools and resources that you guys can use moving forward. Then these are just kind of more resources. So what makes a source credible? You're going to have a source assignment coming up, and you really want to make sure that you understand why a source is credible, what makes it the best source, how do you look at it? And then the next item, again, it's just a review. They're one page each. It's just really about what a scholarly or academic article is versus what a popular article is. So sometimes you guys might find, on an item on Google, that doesn't mean that it's a scholarly item and you need a scholarly article in your paper. So you really need to make sure that you understand what the difference is. And then you guys have your discussion for this week. So the initial post must be a minimum of 100 words. And then I really want you guys to answer the following questions. How and why are schools still segregated in 2021? Think of what items that we go through on a daily basis. Maybe technology-wise. Maybe it's because now we're dealing with COVID-19 and things are different. Maybe that's why they're still segregated. What repercussions do segregated schools have for students and for society? Look at the articles, watch the videos. What do you think? What can you bring out? What can you analyze? What can you critically think about schools being segregated? And then what are the potential remedies to address school segregation? So watching the videos and using your own experience, do you think that there is a way to stop, school segregation? Do you think schools are segregated? If you don't think schools are segregated, then mention that when you're writing your discussion. In this discussion, I want you guys to use at least one source, and I want you guys to make sure that you are citing your source properly. I just want to see proof of an in-text citation. You don't need works cited, especially if you're using the articles that I've already provided you. I just want to make sure that you guys are doing an in-text citation properly. Make sure that you respond to 2 peers and 100 words or more. As always, your initial post is due by Thursday, and then your replies are due by Sunday. So this is the assignment I was telling you guys about. So evaluating sources. So your next essay is coming up, but I really want you guys to start getting a head start on making sure you have your sources. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to look at the essay prompt. And the essay prompt for this essay is, do you believe that the quality of education is determined by a person's race or economic status? So here I have 2 questions for you. When you are creating your thesis, you can focus on one, you can focus on a person's race, or you can focus on the economic status of a person, or you can focus on both. So if I was going to create an essay for or a thesis for this, I would say the quality of a person's education is determined by their race and economical status because, and then I'm going to give my reasons. So remember, what you want to do is you want to take the prompt question, restate it in your thesis, and then add the word because. Now, if I only want to focus on a person's race, I can say a person's race does determine the quality of education because. So I'm only going to focus on race, and that's perfectly acceptable. If you find that economic status and race is a little too complicated to put together, then you can focus on one. A person's economical status does determine their quality of education because. All of these kinds of thesis statements are perfectly acceptable. Make sure that you restate the prompt, make sure that you add the word because, and then you need to give me 3 to 4 reasons. That is how you create your thesis. If you're still struggling with that, please make sure you go back and look at the thesis PowerPoint and workshop and make sure that you are following the formula. If not, email me and let me know what's going on and if you need some help. For this assignment, after you've created your thesis, you're going to find at least 2 sources, 2 academic sources. And then you're going to evaluate these sources. So what you're going to do is you're going to find 2 sources and then you're going to answer all of these questions. So, can you establish that the author is credible and the publication is reputable? So when you're looking at a Google, maybe you found something on Google and you have no idea who the author is. Does that make them credible? Can you tell if they're credible? Maybe not. Does the author support ideas with specific facts? Maybe they don't. Maybe they do. Make sure you answer that question. Does the author leave out any information that you would expect to see in the discussion of this topic? Maybe they're talking about segregation, about race and economics, but they never actually talk about economics. Make sure that you address that. Does the author's conclusion logically follow the evidence that is presented? So, from what they've given you, have they actually come up with a reasonable conclusion? Is the tone objective? Is it balanced? Is it reasonable? They use more of a pathos or ethos, or are they really logical, logos, right? Are they following this logos evaluation? Is the source design professional? Are there graphic informations? Is there a chart? Is there kind of a graph? Anything like that? Go through, and I want you guys to answer this for at least 2 sources. So each source should be on a separate page, and then go through these and answer the questions for both sources. I really want you guys to be able to go through, evaluate your sources, and really just make sure that you guys are finding credible academic sources. Again, please use the BBC Library to help you find a source. You guys have access to it. If you guys need, I will create another video to show you guys how to do that. If not, I will also send out the tutorials from the library that shows you guys how to find credible sources. And then I want you guys to take a look at your education essay. So this is Module 5, education essay. Please make sure that when you guys are creating your essay, you are not just calling it education essay. We really want to find a unique title that fits to your paper. So the prompt, same as the other assignment. Do you believe that the quality of education is determined by a person's race or economic status? Remember, when we're writing an academic voice, we're not using I think, we're not using in this paper, we're going to explain. Remember, that's APA, that's first person. We're not using that form. We're going to use a thesis. Then there's a PowerPoint here. It's everything you need to get an A. What this is I've created a PowerPoint so that you guys can go through here and just remember all of the items that I'm looking for. So a thesis statement. How do you write a thesis statement? What is the formula for the thesis statement, right? Restate the prompt. After you state the prompt, add the word because, by, if, or such, and then provide 2 to 4 reasons. Then make sure you have those transitional sentences. That's what I'm looking for in your paper. Make sure you have this. When you have an in-text citation, make sure that you're citing it properly. it continues with in-text citation. When you are adding in a quote, remember there are multiple ways you can do a quote. You can do a direct quote, you can paraphrase your quote, or you can summarize an article or a chapter. Make sure you check your grammar. Unfortunately, I'm not here to always help you guys with the grammar. So Grammarly.com is a great way to check your grammar on your own. Go to the TLSC, ask tutors to help you, reach out to me, or read your text out loud. A lot of times it sounds silly, but when you guys read your text out loud, you will find your own mistakes. Make sure that if you have an in-text citation, which you will have to have for this essay, that you have a works cited, that it's formatted correctly, that it's in MLA format. Making sure that you have that so what factor, right? At the very end, your last sentence, why should people care about what you're saying? Why does it matter to the audience? Remember, look at the audience, look at what you're saying. Make sure you have that so what factor. If you have a long text, right, that's 30 words or more or 3 lines longer, make sure you block text. Remember, this is how a block text looks. There's no quotations. You use a colon. Remember, these are all things we've gone over and we've looked at before. These are all items that we should know how to do. This is just reminding us. If you find that your essay is not long enough, remember you can add a background paragraph. Give me some background on equality or education, or when did education start, or how did education start. Give me some background information. This goes before your introduction, so you don't even need a thesis for this. Just give me some background information. It's a great place to add in some sources. It's a great place to kind of just educate your audience on, maybe how education started in America. And then, as always, making sure that you have an MLA formatted paper. So you have your last name and page number, you have your first name, you have your professor's name, the course title, and then the date. And remember, there's not a lot of spaces, Times New Roman. These are all the ways that your paper should look. Okay? This is just a PowerPoint to help remind you of the main items I'm going to be looking for. Moving forward, um, your paper should be 4 to 5 pages. I know this is third page possible. You need to meet the end of the fourth page and the top of the fifth page just to make sure. When you're looking at your audience for this essay is college administration and community leaders. So leaders of the college and communities have asked your opinion on how race or economic status affects a student's quality of education. They want to hear your opinion in an academic formatted essay. Argue your opinion using the academic voice, avoid first person pronouns and second person pronouns, right? No I, no we, no our, no you. Make sure you're not using any of this. Make sure that you are really formatting the essay properly. Make sure that you are, writing in text citation. Make sure that you have sources. Make sure that you have an introduction paragraph. Make sure that all your paragraphs are 5 to 10 sentences. Works cited goes on a separate page. If you need help creating a works cited, use Nightsite. Nightsite is a great source. If you've never used it before, go to nightsite.com. It will help you with your works cited entry. If you feel that you're using too many paragraphs or too many direct quotes, you can paraphrase. I'm going to give you guys also a rough draft section where you can submit your essay to see where your similarity rate is. So remember, for an essay, we want it to be no more than 22% similarity. That means that you've taken quotes from other people and you've put them in your essay. You don't want it to be more than 25%, because if it is, that means that you're using way more direct quotes or you've plagiarized somewhere, and we definitely don't want to plagiarize. We really want to make sure that we are following proper MLA format, giving credit where credit is due, and not taking people's words. So please just take a look at all of this. Also down here, you can see the essay scoring rubric, what I'm looking for, what's exceptional, what's satisfactory, and kind of just what I'm going to be looking for overall in your paper. Please do not hesitate to email me and ask for help if you are struggling with this essay. Please make sure that you take it one step at a time. Start with that thesis. That thesis statement is going to guide you through the entire paper, and then use those sources. find a source that really reflects quality of education, that really reflects